Welcome to the show. The guy behind the camera says, don't forget to ask them to subscribe and also to remind them about PayPal, because we are one of the few independent analysis shows in Canada. We aren't paid by the government, and our guests tell it like they think it is. And some of you disagree, but that's good. That's provocative and that's thoughtful, and that's what this show is all about. And my guest today is Patrick Gossage, and he used to be the press secretary to Trudeau. Not the Trudeau you're thinking about, Pierre Trudeau. And he joins me now because you, even though you're no longer in government, I know you follow politics very carefully.
Absolutely.
It's the end of the year. How has your man, Justin, done as Prime Minister this year in your view?
Well, if you look at the polls, you would think that he's dead and buried, you know.
Well, he's not dead and buried. Anything can happen before the
well,
election.
Exactly. And
what about this year, though? Did he do a good job?
Well, I think, you know, the year, for some reason, he was totally buried by Poilievre's blaming him for everything that's gone wrong in the country, which worked well, and which was an entirely new use of media, which unfortunately Trudeau has not learned how to use.
Well, wait a second. Trudeau doesn't have to learn how to use social media. He has the old media that he's paid, like the Toronto Star.
Oh, come on.
Parks out stuff every day because it's paid by the government.
It is not.
The Toronto Star gets a lot of money from the government. The government won't say how much, and the Toronto Star won't say how much,
yeah, but
they acknowledge a lot of money.
Listen, do you really think that the reporters that we know well are biased in favor of Trudeau? Because
not reporters necessarily.
Anyway, this is a diversion. You know, don't divert me, for heaven's sakes.
No, you can come back on again. But I mean, the point is that he has a lot of media, very favorable.
Yeah, but traditional media, it does not reach young people. Okay,
true. So
all I'm saying is that Poilievre has come up with a formula that is appealed to the people that are hurting most in this particular economic situation we're in, and he has won a lot of hearts and minds that Trudeau used to own. He used to own women and youth, and he doesn't anymore, and that has had a huge...
There are reasons for that, though, aren't there? It's not just Poilievre and his press.
Well, it's largely Poilievre, because, you know, Trudeau hasn't made any huge errors, but he's now wearing all the problems of young people and people who are in trouble in the economy, and that's because of a very, very clever and well-organized attack by Poilievre. And I have to give Poilievre full credit, as Trudeau did in his year-end interview. He said, listen, you get a lot of attention if you shout. You don't get much attention if you're actually trying to solve the problems that people are facing, which Trudeau has spent a good deal of time this year doing.
Unsuccessfully, though, because
what do you mean unsuccessfully?
People are still hurting. People are still paying the taxes. People are still paying too much money for fuel and for food across the country. And as far as being a feminist, he has been shown not to be a feminist. So you know what I mean. There is fertile ground for Poilievre to plant.
but it's ridiculous to blame him for everything. It really is. I mean,
no, but that works in politics. So
what?
That works in politics, as you know.
It does. And
okay. 3 minutes up. We'll come back and we'll talk more with Patrick Gossage after that. This show provides independent analysis of the issues. We are not paid by the government. And as I am finding, so much business in Canada relies upon various governments that they don't want to sponsor or advertise on a show which may become controversial, which talks about liberty, freedoms, sometimes criticizes government. I've had guests on that support the government. But people are saying, you know what? We don't want to bite the hand that feeds us, i.e. government, which is why I hope you'll subscribe and contribute to keep this show on the air.